Welcome to a quick update on my first attempt at my first mod really. I've been working on something that essentially helps heli pilots in a few different ways. So the main objective, well, it started off actually, the main objective was to give me my own sort of bespoke heads-up display with controls and avionics that help me fly as a pilot. But then I've over time built out a few other ideas. So I've also got like a wayfinder type function that allows you to place a point on the map, and then the HUD will show you and give you a comparison basically on your current heading and your heading to your LZ. So I can demonstrate that here now. So if you go to the map, and we'll select a point anywhere at random, choose that heli airstrip there. That's roughly to the south of my location, slightly to the east. So I can activate the HUD using voice command, essentially a key press, but I'm using voiceAttack. So activate main HUD. Now what we're seeing here is at the top you've got your heading of your vehicle, and so that's currently at 0 because I'm in the editor and I've just placed it facing north. And then the 180 shows me the complete opposite heading of where I'm facing, so that's useful if you need to do a U-turn. Next to that is the visual, so that shows me the heading that I'm actually looking at. So if I'm flying and I see something of interest, I can tell my colleagues on the ground or in the air, burning wreck or suspicious looking individual at 056 or something like that. But the main use of this is the wayfinder. So activate wayfinder. And now what we have is a reading, heads-up reading that shows me the heading that I need to be moving towards. In this case it's heading 168, and it's just over 4 clicks away. So we'll fire up the engine, and I'll talk you through some of the other elements of this as we're going. So you can see on the left I've got my pitch, which is a nice big indicator to help me really know how far forward or back I'm pitching. So obviously I have this, which is great, but I'm not playing on the best screen, so it kind of helps me to know when I'm landing or when I'm mainly doing more slow maneuvers, whether I'm pitching forward or backwards, because sometimes it's not clear for me. The velocity is in knots, because I think that's probably more of a realistic way to judge the speed when you're flying. At the bottom you've got the altitude, both in terrain and sea level. So with the terrain, obviously that's more useful when you're landing or doing sort of near ground maneuvers, and the ASL is better when you're doing sort of longer transit maneuvers or possibly flying in formation. And the orange marker there, DST, distance, is essentially the same reading as the distance under the 168 destination LZ, and that will count down as we're getting closer. So another feature to talk about is the warning system. So I've built in, actually start to get moving first. So as you can see, as we're turning, I'm now roughly pointing in the right direction, and this basically helps me to go where I need to go without having to check on the map, which I can find challenging, maybe because I'm not a very good pilot, but this sort of puts everything in front of me, so that's kind of nice. So as you can see, distance is slowly counting down, so I'm now about 3 clicks out. As we get closer, you'll see just above the velocity there'll be a marker, probably red to start with, to warn me that I'm coming in too fast. and I've hard coded in a couple of combinations of speed and distance to give me a rough indication of when I'm going too fast or when I'm going at an okay speed. So I'm just adjusting my course very slightly, and any moment now we should get a warning. And the other thing to bear in mind is that currently I have smoke that is triggered, as you can see, to mark the exact point of the LZ. You can see I'm at way too fast now. The recommended speed is 50, so I'll slow it down, keep an eye on the pitch and my ASL. Now I'm at a good speed at green. Now we have it. So give you a second example, so just go back to the map. Selected a new location, or LZ, which is roughly north of my location. So the heading that I need to achieve is 034. So I'll just hang slightly to the right. About 5.5 clicks out. The pitch is actually useful for me here because I can sort of compare quickly my forward pitch and my speed. So at 100 knots, about pitch of -10, I seem to be maintaining a reasonable ASL of 40-ish. So these are all things that kind of help me to try to be a better pilot anyway. So let's say I was scoping out this town, which is on my 339, 338. I could try to kind of call out targets as I see them, which is probably more helpful than just saying that building on the left. Maybe that's not useful, I don't know. I have not actually used it in any operations yet, but it's something that I wanted to try and do. And obviously when I'm not looking around, my visual and my heading are the same. So I've slightly gone off course here, so I'm just going to correct. I'm about 2.2 out, 60 knots, 70 knots. So I'll drop my altitude slightly, so ASL of about 37, 74 knots. .5 clicks out. Drifted of course again, so just make a slight correction there. There should be some smoke somewhere in front of me. I think I see it. So looking at my pitch, I'm pitching up at about 6 degrees. Nice solid landing speed. 45 is what I've decided is a good speed at this distance. Now it's gone too fast again. So I think I've got 5 different stages of slowdown warnings. Now I'm looking at my ATL and my speed and my pitch. There you go. The only other thing to mention is I've also toggled a key press to enable and disable the map click. So at the moment if I press home and go back to the map click is turned off, and you can see at the bottom left I've got a cycle, which is probably really bad coding, but it works, so I can probably live with that inefficiency. But obviously I'll get rid of that debug. There you go, that's the first version of the mod, which I'm probably going to call heliHUD or something like that. Something not very exciting. But there you go. Hopefully that's of some interest to any pilots out there. Drop me a comment if you've got any questions. At some point I'll probably release this on the Steam Workshop. Yeah, let me know if you have any comments, and thank you very much for your time. It's much appreciated. And very last thing, if you did like this, please give me a like. I would really appreciate it. If you don't like it, give me a dislike, and that will sort of wake me up a bit and maybe spur me on to do better videos. Thanks for watching. Deactivate main HUD. Deactivate Wayfinder. Oh yeah, there was one other thing. Show time. Hide time.